Namaskar, good evening. You're watching the News Hour at 9 and I'm Swati Joshi. Well, the first day of the 18th Lok Sabha was a stormy session. It began on a politically explosive note. The Prime Minister today reminded the Congress of the dark chapters, the dark history of emergency. In his typical front-footed style, the Prime Minister came down heavily on the Congress party, talking about the dark phase of the emergency era. Let's first play out what the Prime Minister said ahead of the first day of the 18th Lok Sabha.
25 जून न भूलने वाला दिवस है। कल 25 जून को भारत के लोकतंत्र में जो काला धब्बा लगा था, उसके 50 वर्ष हो रहे हैं। भारत की नई पीढ़ी इस बात को कभी नहीं भूलेगी कि भारत के संविधान को पूरी तरह नकार दिया गया था। देशवासी संकल्प लेंगे कि भारत में फिर कभी कोई ऐसी हिम्मत नहीं करेगा जो 50 साल पहले की गई थी और लोकतंत्र पे काला धब्बा लगा दिया गया था।
Well, it was all about the Samvidhan today. On one hand, you heard the Prime Minister who said this will never be repeated. The phase of emergency will never be seen again by the people of this country. On the other hand, it looked like the opposition was also prepared. The opposition leaders marched into the premise of the parliament with a copy of a constitution in their hand. Now, not just that. Remember, the opposition has boycotted the tradition of assisting the pro tem speaker. Mallikarjun Kharge once again taking a jibe at the Prime Minister, at the Bharatiya Janata Party, at the entire NDA, spoke about the moral and the political defeat of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he said that such was the arrogance that he still became the Prime Minister of the country. Multiple reactions came in from the opposition, which was prepared for this stormy session, perhaps something that the BJP also anticipated, and the emergency jibe came in from the Prime Minister just a day before the country is going to in fact mark the 50th anniversary of that dark phase. Let's also listen into a couple of reactions that came in from the opposition.
जो आक्रमण प्रधानमंत्री जी अमित शाह जी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पर संविधान पे कर रहे हैं, वो हमारे लिए एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है, वो हम होने नहीं देंगे। इसीलिए हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ओथ लेते हुए हमने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पकड़ा था। धन्यवाद। थैंक यू। हमारा संदेश जा रहा है, हिंदुस्तान के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को कोई शक्ति नहीं छू सकती।
देखो, 100 बार यही बात बोलेंगे और इमरजेंसी के 50 साल हो रहे बोले तो तुम इमरजेंसी से विदाउट डिक्लेयरिंग इमरजेंसी यू आर डूइंग इट। इसीलिए हर बार वही बात बोल के आप कितने दिन ऐसा ही अपनी हुकूमत करना चाहते हैं।
So you heard the Congress leaders there, the Congress netas claiming that they are the guardians of Constitution, they will save Constitution, they will save democracy. But let's take a look at some hard facts. Let's take a look at who in fact misused power. And we have a detailed graphics prepared. On your screens, you are getting the entire detail of what happened during the emergency. It was 19 months of emergency under Indira era. 88 times the Congress party imposed precedent rule using Article 356, and of these 88 times, 50 times alone were during Indira Gandhi's regime, using that article to impose precedence rule. That's how the Congress party, in fact, and the allegation is, has misused the constitution several times during its regime. Now let's open this up and in fact take you across to our legitimate question. All these facts take us to the legitimate question, is which is who's ahead in saving democracy? Is it the Bharatiya Janata Party that claims that in the emergency period the Congress destroyed the constitution, that phase will never happen again, it will never be repeated in the country? Or is it the opposition, the Congress party especially, that says that the BJP has subverted institutions, the BJP has in fact threatened the constitution and democracy, which they will never allow to happen again?
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's open this up and let's go across to our guests. We're joined by Anil K. Antony, national spokesperson of the BJP. We have Smita Prakash, editor of ANI, Satya Prakash Mishra, leader JDU, Deepak Reddy, national spokesperson of the TDP. We have Abbas Haider, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Anand Dubey, spokesperson of the Shiv Sena, UBT, and Sanjay Jha, author. A big panel. Thank you very much for joining us. Good evening to all of you. I want to bring in with you Mr. Anil Antony. Did the BJP actually anticipate that there's going to be such a huge, show of strength by the opposition, I would say, inside the parliament, that they would be strategizing something like that, that all of a sudden the emergency drive came in? You are in power again at the center. Why the emergency issue now?
Thank you for having me in the show. So first of all, I would like to tell it very categorically and clearly that the 18th Lok Sabha, after the 18th Lok Sabha election, this first session is a historic session where this is the first time, this is just the second time in our India's history that the Prime Minister is coming back for the third time consecutively. And that too with the numbers which is higher than what our nearest opposition party has in the last 3 elections combined. And ever since we formed our government, there had been many different narrations that had been created by our opposition, including disharmony among our allies, the difficulty in forming government, etc. Everything was proven wrong. And we have formed a very harmonious government also, and now this is the first session where we are presenting our ministers to the House, and we are moving towards our vision of our Prime Minister's vision of making this country into a developed country in the next 25 years. Now it is very amusing and it is very ironic that on the first day itself the opposition is once again, opposition especially led by the Congress party, it is resorting to certain theatrics and dramatics where now they are pretending to be the protectors of our constitution. Today you saw some of those theatrics when some of the Congress people, the MPs wanted to swear in with the constitution with their name, etc. And then our Prime Minister, rightfully, today he bought the instances of emergency. And this is the appropriate day to do it because tomorrow is exactly the 50th anniversary. It was exactly 50 years from tomorrow that the emergency was declared in India. It is the darkest chapter in India's democratic history, where after Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ji in 1975, her election was declared null and void by the Allahabad court. To ensure that she can hold on to power, she declared the emergency, that too in the middle of a night. Even the Council of Ministers were not, they didn't know about it till the next morning. And the next 18 months saw the largest excess of power which this country has ever seen. And this is the same party.
Okay, I want to bring in Sanjay Jha.
Family.
Okay. Anil Antony, stay on with us. Stay on with us, Mr. Antony. Let me bring in Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, I understand that the opposition wants to take a jibe at the BJP for, making tall claims ki abki baar 400 par, and that did not happen. But isn't the Congress party and the opposition taking it too far by saying that this is a moral defeat, a political defeat, and this is arrogance that Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister again? Is the Congress rattled by the fact that the Prime Minister raked up the emergency issue, which did happen, isn't it?
Swati, good evening to you and to my fellow panelists. Here is my short answer. The BJP spokesperson talked about a very dark chapter. I agree with him. The emergency was indeed a dark chapter, but it was officially a declared emergency and it lasted around 21 months. The BJP spokesperson should know that what we have experienced is the darkest decade in our entire political history, where we have had an undeclared, unofficial emergency for the last 120 months, which is, by the way, dangerous for democracy. One, because it is stealthy. Second, because it is surreptitious. Third, because it is very slimy. What has happened over the last 10 years? Mr. Modi, under the guise of the fact that India is having elections, has abused civil liberties. He himself, during the elections, indulged in hate speech. We have seen how his own leaders have talked about amending the constitution. This is a party that has no respect for the Indian constitution, Swati. Let me give you an example. They keep talking about the founding fathers. Let me give you 2 examples of the founding fathers. Dr. Ambedkar, Pandit Nehru? Have you seen how they have mocked and actually kind of persecuted so many Dalits in this country? Have you seen how Pandit Nehru is regularly ridiculed by Prime Minister Modi himself? So they have no basic comprehension of India's constitution. And actually, I empathize with them. There's a reason why they don't, because their entire party and its forefathers had zero contribution in our freedom struggle, and they had nothing to do with the freedom struggle at all. They were actually on the side of the British. For the BJP and the Sangh Parivar and its supporters on your program to expect them to comprehend the crisis of Indian constitution is like expecting for the moon. And here is my last point. When the Prime Minister himself attacks minorities during the election campaign, totally undisguised, unambiguous, unalloyed criticism of the minorities, what is the message? The message to the people of India is that he himself doesn't believe the oath that he takes as a Prime Minister. Does not the preamble say that?
But Sanjay Jha, despite all of that, despite the arguments that you're giving, will I have to refresh your memory in terms of the number of amendments that happened during the UPA's regime, during the Congress party's regime, or the number of times President's rule was imposed? And okay, go ahead, but let me finish my question. Will I have to refresh your memory, remind you of that? Because somebody in the panel will definitely do that. Was that not against democracy? Was that not against the principles of constitution, or it was fine because the Congress was doing it?
Well, Swati, a very pertinent question. Your viewers are very enlightened, and I'm sure very, very aware of India's entire parliamentary history. India became independent, you had a constitution. And the constitution has provisions for amendment because nobody could forecast what's going to happen 100 years or 200 years hence. Obviously, post-independence, there were many social, economic, political developments which were not anticipated, and therefore amendments to the constitution are very justified and legitimate. The question is, as long as it is not anti-people, as long as it is not anti-communities, as long as it is not anti the basic structure of the constitution. And that is where the real debate is. Obviously, the Congress has been in government for 55 years. So if any amendments have happened, more of them will be arithmetically with the Congress than the BJP. But the larger issue, and I keep repeating that, Swati, and I'm glad you're doing this debate, this election was between the people of India and the BJP. So when you said at the beginning, who's saving Indian democracy? Is it the opposition or the ruling government?
Even if it was between people of India and the BJP's numbers still more than the entire INDI combined. We'll have to get into another debate altogether if we were to talk about the outcome of the Lok Sabha elections. I want to bring in Smita Prakash very quickly. Smita Prakash, all of a sudden, every time the image of the constitution comes on screen, every time we see someone talking about constitution, why is it becoming, day by day, politically so explosive, politically so controversial? Because first, after the entire Lok Sabha results, we saw the Prime Minister bowing to the Constitution. That was made fun of. Now, the entire opposition walking in with a copy of the Constitution. Is it really about these parties saving the Constitution and democracy, or about the BJP being a little rattled that the entire campaign perhaps went against them in some states where it was a major setback, and the opposition really being armed that that campaign perhaps worked in their favor and the eyes are on the upcoming elections?
Swati, you are right. It's the narrative of the Congress party and to some extent even Tejasvi that clicked about the constitution. And that is why you're seeing the Congress and the other opposition leaders carrying the constitution today, and they showed unity in what they did today. A lot of what BJP had thought would happen in April did not happen in June. The Prime Minister, while before taking the oath, he spoke about the emergency, and today when he took the oath, his voice drowned out the opposition sloganeering. But it's a stronger opposition, and it's a united opposition. It's an opposition that's going to do everything possible to see that the ruling BJP walks on hot coals in the coming months. When you ask me about the constitution, as to who saved the constitution, you ask the others too. It's a narrative that clicked in many states, and the opposition knows that. that, you know, when they talked about that they are the saviors of the Constitution, obviously the numbers show that somewhere that clicked with the majority of the electorate in many states, maybe not in all, but in some of them. And the BJP is on a back foot on this score. They tried to counter it by saying that, you know, during the elections they countered it, and even today they said that the Congress trampled on the Constitution during the emergency. But the fact is that public memory is short. Even then the public memory was short. The public forgave Indira Gandhi for the excesses of emergency. They punished the Janata government for its, for infighting within 3 years of coming to power. And Indira Gandhi came back to power. So today, the BJP has to think of a better narrative. Just talking about Nehru and Indira Gandhi is going to be counterproductive when they talk to the youth of today or even the senior citizens of today, because the senior citizens of today are the ones who know about the 1970s. So, the 2024 monsoon session is going to be a tough one for the BJP, which for 10 years had a relatively easy run of the treasury benches as compared to what the UPA government under Manmohan Singh had. In fact, many say that that's exactly what the opposition wants to do, which is that make it so hard that there's a policy paralysis that happens like it happened in their time. So they want to make it hard for the BJP. And whether it fructifies or not is something that we'll see in the coming months. But checks and balances is what it started off with. But I think it's going to become more and more of coalition drama and about Andolan.
You have given us a couple of talking points, Smita. You're saying, one, the narrative of the Constitution and the democracy being in danger clicked for the opposition. So they will definitely try to, ride high on that. Number two, you said that the BJP seems to be on the back foot as far as this session is concerned. And number three, you said it's a united opposition, and there was a show of strength earlier as well. Let me bring in Satya Prakash Mishra, leader of the JDU then. Satya Prakash Mishra, is that the reason that the entire issue of the emergency came to fore because the BJP somewhere and the entire NDA was anticipating that this is going to happen? Now you have a stronger opposition in the House.
No. It came into because tomorrow is the 50th anniversary of emergency, and you have to understand there are political leaders in the government and in other parts of the state who are opposed to the Congress. They suffered in the emergency. What was that? Completely, depriving of every citizen their fundamental right. All political leaders were behind bar for 18 months. So that was the reason to address that issue, that the constitution holders now covering their face with the constitution, once they were the biggest destroyer of the very constitution. And now what they are claiming that they are the constitution saver. I don't understand when they saved the constitution, when they 88 more than 90 times disrupted and dismissed the elected government in so many states. It is a history and the character of the Congress party which never respected the constitution at all. It is very fine today that you are carrying the constitution. I am thankful to them. Really, I am thankful to them that they are carrying the constitution, because the Modi government in the last 10 years followed every constitutional principle, whether it is related to the removal of 370. It was discussed in the parliament and then it was removed. Whether it is giving, reservation to the women in the parliament and in state legislative assemblies, 33% reservation. That was the constitutional process. It is a kind of rumor by the Congress party so that they can have something to say. And they will disrupt the democratic process in the
you're
name
saying it's a narrative, it's a rumor. That's what you're saying. And they're using it to disrupt the democratic process. Let me bring in Anand Dubey. He's a spokesperson. Spokesperson of UBT Sena.
No, come on.
It's a rumor you're saying. So let me take a counter.
I am agree with Smita Prakash.
Okay, 30 seconds to you.
Yeah, it's a rumor.
I am giving you 30 seconds. Do you want to finish your point?
I'm not. Yeah, I agree with Smita.
Okay, all right. Let me move on. Let me go across to Anand Dubey. No, 1 second. Let me now go across to Anand Dubey. Anand Dubey जी, ये कह रही है पूरी की पूरी एनडीए कि वो लोग जो आज हाथ में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की प्रति लेकर के पार्लियामेंट में आ रहे हैं, संसद में आ रहे हैं, ये वही लोग हैं जिन्होंने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को तार-तार किया था इमरजेंसी के दौरान और बिना किसी वजह के उस वक्त पूरी ऑपोजिशन को उठा करके जेल में डाल दिया था और भी बहुत सारे प्रतिबंध लगा दिए गए थे। आज आप ऐसी ही एक पार्टी के साथ खड़े हैं तो ये जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को लहराने का अधिकार है आप लोगों के पास नहीं है।
स्वाति जी नमस्ते। देखिए आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का आज का बयान जो है वो जानबूझकर दिया गया बयान है। पिछले 10 वर्षों में उन्होंने स्वयं कभी संविधान को नहीं माना। एक नारा लेकर आए 2024 में, अब की बार 400 पार। अगर हमें 400 सीटें मिलेंगी तो हम भारत के संविधान को बदल देंगे। ये हम नहीं कह रहे हैं, उनके नेता कह रहे हैं। जिस प्रकार उनके ऊपर दाग लगे हैं, उनकी सीटें कम आई हैं, ये बयान जानबूझकर दिया गया है कि भैया हम तो संविधान बचाना चाहते हैं। ये जो कांग्रेस पार्टी है, ये जो विपक्ष में बैठी है, इसलिए आज से 50 साल पहले संविधान को नहीं माना था, इमरजेंसी लगाई थी। हम तो बहुत बड़े संविधान के भक्त हैं। लेकिन देश की जनता बड़ी समझदार है, जागरूक है, वो सब समझ रही है कि वी आर सिटिंग इन 2024 और आप बात कर रहे हैं आज से 50 साल पहले 1975 की। आप को चुना था 10 साल पहले लोगों ने इस उम्मीद में कि आप अच्छे दिन लाएंगे।
जब वो दिन आएगा आनंद दुबे जी, जब वो दिन आएगा तो इमरजेंसी की बात तो होगी। नहीं आनंद दुबे जी, जब वो दिन आएगा तो इमरजेंसी की बात होगी। इमरजेंसी किसने लाई इस पर बात होगी। इमरजेंसी क्यों लाई गई, इमरजेंसी के दौरान क्या क्या हुआ, किस किस पर अत्याचार हुआ, ये सारी बातें तो होंगी।
ठीक है, 25 जून 1975 को इमरजेंसी लगी थी। प्रधानमंत्री जी के बहुत सारे पुराने ट्वीट्स हैं, वो समय समय पे याद करते हैं, याद करिए ना। लेकिन जिस प्रकार इन 10 वर्षों में आपने संविधान का सम्मान नहीं किया, संविधान में तो ये हक है कि जितना महत्व सरकार का है उतना ही महत्व विपक्ष का है। प्रधानमंत्री जी, आप वही प्रधानमंत्री है ना जिन्होंने सदन में कुछ महीने पहले कहा था कि मेरी इच्छा है इस बार मैं सदन में विपक्ष मुक्त भारत देखना चाहता हूं। ये जो विपक्ष है ये दर्शक दीर्घा में बैठे देखना चाहता हूं। आपने ये सम्मान किया। आपने विपक्ष का नेता, विपक्ष की जो कुर्सी होती है लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन,
सत्यप्रकाश जी आपकी बात से बिल्कुल अग्री नहीं कर रहे। क्या ये थोड़ा नहीं, क्या ये थोड़ा अपनी तरफ से आपने जोड़ तोड़ के कहा है? लेट मी ब्रिंग इन मिस्टर मिश्रा, प्लीज गो अहेड।
मैं इनको हिंदी में जवाब देता हूं। जब देश में पहली बार नरेंद्र मोदी चुनकर आए ना, तो वो व्यक्ति थे जो संसद की सीढ़ियों को प्रणाम करके सर लगा करके संसद के अंदर घुसे। ये लोकतांत्रिक मंदिर का सम्मान था। उन्होंने 44 सीटें लेके आई थी कांग्रेस, लेकिन तमाम बिलों में संशोधन करके जहां विपक्ष की नेता की जरूरत होती थी बहुत सारे अपॉइंटमेंट में, तो जो सबसे बड़ी पार्टी थी उसके नेता को स्वीकृति दी कि आप इस अपॉइंटमेंट में बैठिए। उन्होंने हमेशा विपक्ष का सम्मान किया। लेकिन विपक्ष ने क्या कहा? आपके प्रधानमंत्री, ये राहुल गांधी जी के मुंह से निकला, मतलब उनके नहीं थे प्रधानमंत्री, आपके प्रधानमंत्री। नकार नहीं, जब जनता ने नकार दिया कांग्रेस पार्टी को जो लगातार सत्ता में रही,
उसका
उनको
कारण
बर्दाश्त नहीं हुआ। इस देश के संवैधानिक मूल्यों पर
कारण है
एक व्यक्ति जमीन से उठकर प्रधानमंत्री बना। मैं आपके बीच में नहीं बोल रहा था, ये मत करिए, ये गैर संवैधानिक काम मत करिए डिबेट में। जब हम बोल रहे हैं तो आप सुनिए, सुनने की क्षमता रखिए। तो वो लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों को हमेशा बचाते आए, उन पर इन्होंने एक सिगुफा छोड़ दिया। आप एक बात बताइए, क्या संसद में कोई बिल ऐसे पास हो जाता है, लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों में चर्चा होती है, बिल पास होता है, और किस राज्य की सरकार को बर्खास्त किया?
लेकिन हमने कई बार देखा, कि पूरा का पूरा विपक्ष जो है वॉकआउट कर गया, और बीजेपी के पास, एनडीए के पास पूरी मेजॉरिटी थी। एक मिनट, मुझे दूसरों का पक्ष भी लेना पड़ेगा। कई बार हमने देखा कि ऑपोजिशन जो है पूरी तरह से वॉकआउट कर गया था, उसकी सहमति नहीं भी रही हो, रजामंदी ना भी रही हो, बिल पास हुए, फैसले लिए गए, क्योंकि समर्थन में जो नंबर चाहिए थे वो नंबर थे आपके पास। लेट मी ब्रिंग इन मिस्टर दीपक रेड्डी एज वेल एज अब्बास नॉट स्पोकन। दीपक रेड्डी, द एलिगेशन, हाँ तो मैं वही कह रही हूँ, आपके उनके पास तब नंबर नहीं था, आज उनके पास नंबर है, तो वो एक स्ट्रांग ऑपोजिशन बन करके they want to keep the check on the government।
करेंगे राष्ट्र के विकास के लिए।
बिल्कुल है, आपके पास बिल्कुल मैंडेट है, लेकिन अब उनके पास भी नंबर है, क्योंकि जो आप शुरुआत में कह रहे थे, शुरुआत में जो आप कह रहे थे, I'm just responding to that because they had no numbers. Okay.
Parliament and on the streets.
Okay, I want to bring in Deepak Reddy now. Deepak Reddy, is the BJP, is the NDA on back foot now that the opposition has grown in numbers in the House and it's a united opposition?
Swati, I was really surprised looking at the display in the parliament by the Congress, the Indie ecosystem. Do they really have that kind of a moral standing to raise an issue saying that, keeping the constitution up and saying they're protected? Looking at their history, how many times did they amend the constitution? How many times did they pull down the state governments by invoking the president's rule? How many times they have arrested people during the emergency and the dark days in our history? What have they done to Charan Singh? 20 days, they gave one commitment and the betrayal. And then the central government was pulled down more than 3 times. And coming to our own issue, the TDP party, the party was born revolting against the Congress way of functioning. And then when our founding leader, NTR, went abroad for some medical treatment, they tried to pull down the government. And then again we had to go back to the people. The illegalities which were done in the last 60 years when they were in power is unbelievable. Do they really have that kind of a moral stand to even talk these kind of things is the question here. Most importantly,
well, they are raking up issues. They are raking up issues like NEET. They are raking up the issues like Agniveer. Agniveer, NEET, and many other issues are being raked up by the Constitution to back their charge that institutions are being bulldozed by the BJP. Respond to that.
I'm coming to that. I mean, do they really have that kind of a moral stand with such a track record? Is the first question what I have. The second is they have lost 3 times in a row, a hat-trick defeat.
Swati.
And if you take whatever seats BJP has got, if you take it as 100, they have just got only 40. That's a pass mark. So they are very happy that they have just passed for the first time in 3 elections and they want to feel that they are relevant. But the point here is, are they respecting the conventions?
They just want to show they are relevant, yourself.
I mean, the day
so let me bring in Abbas Haider. Let me bring in Abbas Haider.
Is this behavior?
Abbas Haider, your response.
What the people of India
your response is for just the first day, and on the first day itself, the entire opposition says the constitution and democracy, it's all danger. There's a threat to our constitution, to our democracy. At least let the House function. Please respond to Mr. Deepak Reddy.
None of the BJP leader has ever said that they want to amend the constitution. In fact, there have been 8 constitutional amendments during the past 10 years of NDA rule. There have been many constitutional amendments. We have never talked about constitutional amendment. What we have talked, what the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders were claiming that they want to change the constitution. In another word, they want to get rid of the current constitution of our country, for which we have fought the election and we have shown to the people, we have shown to the electorate of the country that we are with the constitution and we never let the Bharatiya Janata Party to get away with the constitution of India. The problem here is, see, they have tried to, destroy the democratic and parliamentary ethos of the House. We have increased strength on the floor of the House, and certainly we will not let the ruling government, the treasury side, to do anything which is unconstitutional. With the appointment of pro tem speaker, they have shown that they are not going to follow the convention and customs of the parliamentary system in our country. There have been so many instances. In past 10 years, we have seen that how the number of ordinance has gone up. There have been frequent use of the ordinance. They have bypassed the parliamentary committees. How there was no deputy speaker in the Lok Sabha. How the hundreds of MPs from the opposition were suspended. So they have tried to do everything to destroy the opposition. But one thing has changed. The Prime Minister who used to claim
even when disciplinary action was taken, you are saying that they were bulldozing the opposition. Okay, bulldozing the opposition and breaking the norms. Let me bring
opposition to Deepti.
Okay, irrespective of how the opposition believes with the chair, irrespective of their conduct within the House. Okay, finish your point, please.
See, there has been no instance in the parliamentary history of the country that so many opposition MPs have been suspended. This was the first time in the last Lok Sabha we have seen. But you must understand, the language of the Prime Minister has changed. The mandate which has shown the Prime Minister that no, we have actually not elected you as the Prime Minister has changed his language. Who used to say
he won his election from Varanasi. His party won more than the entire opposition. No, one second. Mr. Haider, he won from Varanasi.
So what?
His party won more than the entire INDI. His party won more than the INDI. He had his allies. Along with his allies, they crossed the majority mark. Are you telling me you have never seen the coalition politics in this country? Are you saying that? Are you saying that you've never seen the era of coalition politics? पूरा यूपीए क्या था सर? और उस टाइम पे कांग्रेस के कितने numbers थे? In that coalition era, that UPA era that we are talking about, did Congress party ever have the kind of numbers that the BJP has in the coalition? Let's not go there. Let me bring in Mr. Antony, and then you can come in, Sanjay. But Mr. Antony first. Mr. Antony, the allegation is that the 400 par agenda was to change the constitution entirely. Another narrative that was doing the rounds was that if the BJP gets 400 par, there'll perhaps be no elections at all, and that Narendra Modi would continue to remain the Prime Minister of the country. Respond.
Swati, thank you. I was listening to all my fellow panelists, and first of all, once again, I would just go back to history for a brief moment, where let me remind the people again what happened during the actual emergency, because a lot of people are talking about undeclared emergency versus declared emergency, etc. When there was an actual emergency, there were 1.4 lakh people who were arrested, including thousands of journalists, every single opposition leader, even people inside the Congress. And during that period of 18 months, there was a 42nd amendment where constitution was changed multiple times, multiple parts of it, without any parliamentary discussion. Now you look at the Congress party even now, the tendencies are the same. It is the same family that is running the Congress even now. Right now the party is diminished a lot from what it was, 99 seats and 3 states. Yet, just look at the actions of the Congress party in the states where they are actually ruling. The Bharatiya Janata Party and the NDA right now, we are a coalition which is ruling and governing almost 18-19 states. We are in the central government for the third straight time with almost 150 seats more than the Congress party. But just look at what the Congress is doing in Karnataka, where social media activists are arrested from Goa, attempted to be arrested from UP, where the Karnataka police is acting like almost the Nazi time SS guards, where without any respect to any provisions you are arresting to your dissenters, just like what it used to be in the emergency times, just how it was during the peak of the Congress times. And then just compare that to the performance of the Bharatiya Janata Party, where in the last 10 years, every single procedure we have followed the constitution. We had the numbers in 2014 and 2019, even higher numbers than now. 303 seats for the Bharatiya Janata Party, 350 plus for the NDA. But we bought constitutional amendment, we bought changes with discussions, following parliamentary procedures. You have so many people criticizing the Prime Minister himself, the party leaders, but we are not arresting anybody nor muscling anybody like the Congress party is doing with just having one state.
Don't say you're not arresting anybody, because then everybody on the panel who's not part of the BJP will start reminding you of Mr. Hemant Soren, of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, and every other leader from the opposition who's been arrested. I know that the cases are going on in the court, and that the courts. I know the matter is, they are all sub judice. I understand that the matter is sub judice. But that's one charge of the opposition, that only leaders of the opposition have been put behind bars. Let me bring in Smita Prakash once again. Smita Prakash, emphasizing on this point, because whoever is in the opposition is going to criticize the government, its functions and its policies. All of that is understandable. But here in this case, this newfound strength of the opposition and the narrative that you were talking about earlier, is this an indication of what's in store for the BJP in the coming days?
Look, Swati, the long-time watchers of Parliament sessions will have felt a sense of deja vu today, those who have seen coalition-era politics, because this is exactly what they would have, they saw this happening 10 years ago, now, or rather 15 years ago. But those who are new to, this kind of coalition-era politics, where you're seeing a very strong opposition, for them it would have seemed new. And the BJP, they won a third term. But just look at the situation they are in. It doesn't look like they've had a honeymoon period at all. This sense of, like they've been gheraued. If I was to use cricket terms, it would like they have 3 slips and a gully and a square leg and a back leg. backward square leg. They just can't do any drives anymore. I mean, even the diehard supporters today, Swati, off camera, they are wary. They are saying like, when is our team going to recover its mojo? And on the other hand, look at the opposition parties. They don't have the numbers, and in spite of them, that they are strutting around like they have won the election. Akhilesh Yadav today in his red topi and his red gamcha in parliament, he looked victorious, as if he's won the election. He looked like a Dulhe Raja. And you look at the TMC, they look triumphant. Look at Sonia Gandhi. She looked very healthy while she's leading the party into the parliament. She looked more in charge or more in control than she looked in 2004. So if it was optics, today the opposition managed to win the day with their optics. The BJP has to get its mojo together, at least for its own party cadres who want to see that, listen, they've won the election. So they want to see their leaders. Their leaders looked a little shattered. I think it's that 400 par slogan which has just made them seem कि जीत तो गए लेकिन सच में जीते हैं कि नहीं पता नहीं.
Honest commentary. It may sound harsh to both the sides today, Smita Prakash. Let me give one opportunity. Okay, I want to give this opportunity to Sanjay Jha since he wants to come in. Sanjay Jha, everybody was a Dulhe Raja. Something that the BJP did take a jibe at the Congress for.
Well, Swati, let me tell you to what Smita just mentioned. The reason why the opposition numbers have to be looked very differently, and the BJP's numbers, this was not a level playing field. This was like a boxing match between the India Alliance, which has got no boxing gloves. It is not wearing shoes. It has been it has been made blind, and to take on a BJP which is fat and fed on proteins, wearing boxing gloves and having the referee on its side, it was not a level playing field. And despite that, the India Alliance is just around 35-40 seats or short of forming a government, which might happen anytime, as we all know. So here is the truth. The BJP, which started at 400, is actually down at 160 seats less. Mr. Modi does not have actually the moral legitimacy to even be in government. He should have learned from Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. He was the largest party in parliament in 1989 with 197 seats, but he refused to form the government because he said the mandate has gone against me. The BJP is short by nearly 62 odd seats, what it won in 2019. So Mr. Modi today looks a hollow and an extremely enervated political creature. And I think his time is up. It's a question of how soon his government falls.
All right. Let me in fact take a very quick comment from Mr. Anand Dubey. Anand Dubey जी, क्या आप संजय झा की बात से सहमत हैं? क्या आपको भी ये लग रहा है कि बहुत जल्दी सत्ता परिवर्तन होगा?
देखिए, ऐसा है स्वाति जी कि इस बार जो विपक्ष है ना, वो बहुत ही यूनाइटेड है, मजबूत है, संख्या बल भी अच्छा है. 25-50 सीट इधर उधर होने पर ये सरकार बिगड़ बन सकती है. तो अगर संजय झा जी कह रहे हैं कि भाई ये हो सकता है, तो हो भी सकता है. लेकिन चूंकि जेडीयू और टीडीपी जब तक नहीं चाहेंगे ये नहीं हो सकता है, सबको पता है. लेकिन जिस दिन वो चाह लेंगे तब ये 100% हो सकता है, क्योंकि वो 28 की संख्या बल वो सरकार के गिराने के लिए
स्थिति बिल्कुल वही होगी. तो आज अगर आप एनडीए को कह रहे हैं कि वो बैसाखी पर चल रही है जेडीयू और टीडीपी की, तो जब अगर इंडिया के पास आईएनडीआई के पास आ जाते हैं, मान लीजिए आपकी जो बात है वो सही हो जाती है, तो कितनी सारी बैसाखियां होंगी. सिचुएशन कोई बहुत अलग नहीं होगी. ये तो कोalition पॉलिटिक्स में भी खिचड़ी पॉलिटिक्स हो जाएगी. थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग अस ऑन द